In recent news, there has been lots of talk about buydowns. Today we have Kelly Price with WinTrust Mortgage to help explain a buydown, highlighting my 2-flat listing at 4044 West 21st. Kelly, can you walk us through a buydown scenario for this property?
Don, I sure can. I'm going to talk about the temporary 2-1 buydown today for two reasons. Number one, the cost of the buydown, that is something that is paid for by the seller in the form of a closing cost credit. Closing cost credits are typically capped at 3% if a buyer is purchasing with a minimum down payment. And so a 2-1 buydown, the cost of that, it's always dependent on purchase price and financing amount, but in most cases, the 2-1 buydown always falls within that 3% seller credit range. But ultimately, we're talking about it today because it presents a really nice option for a buyer that is skeptical about their affordability with the rise in interest rates this year. It presents them with an option to temporarily have lower interest rates for the first couple of years of homeownership, which allows them to use that money saved towards, in this specific example, a 2-unit where there may be bigger deferred maintenance costs. There's always reasons to have a nest egg with financing. So the buyer can enjoy a lower monthly payment for the first 2 years and then take that savings and set it aside for future improvements and costs for the property. So in this example today, we're starting out with a 30-year fixed rate at 6.125, which is the rate that the lender we use to qualify the buyer. But for the first year, the 2-1 buydown concept offers a 2% lower rate for the first year. So if we start at 6.125, someone will start out with an interest rate for the first year at 4.125, which is over $500 a month in savings, over $6,000 a month in savings the first year. The second year, their rate is 1% better than the original note rate at 5.125, which is an additional $250 per month in savings or an additional $3,000 in savings per year. And then the third year, we end up with the note rate and the original payment for the remainder of the 30 years on that 30-year fixed mortgage at 6.125. But in essence, the buyer is saving over $9,000 for the first 2 years on interest that's being subsidized by way of this credit to cover this temporary 2-1 buydown in the first couple of years of the mortgage. Don, one of the questions I often get on the 2-1 buydown scenario is, can a person refinance in the midst of it if market rates come down significantly, which we know at some point when they hit that inflationary ceiling, they will fall back. So if we're starting at 6.125 but enjoying the lower rate for the first couple of years, if market rates come down to 4.125, then ultimately that person can refinance at any time without any penalty. And if there's money left over from this subsidy from the buydown, that money will be fully credited to the borrower, I should say, at that time. So there's absolutely no hesitancy that anyone should have to refinance should rates come down, no penalty, and they're not going to lose this credit that they originally negotiated as a part of their deal with the seller. So it's a win-win for both parties. Just to recap, seller didn't have to significantly lower price to provide a credit of anywhere from 2 to 2.5% to offer the temporary 2-1 buydown, and the buyer didn't have to come out of pocket additionally to enjoy a lower rate for the first 2 years of homeownership. And again, they're saving that money over time, which equates out to real money, and to own a 2-unit property, a rental property, and have saved about $9,000 plus in the first couple of years is phenomenal. It's a great way to go. It's a great way to curb the rate hikes that we're dealing with right now. And it's a great incentive for people to continue to buy.
Thank you for the information, Kelly. I'd like to point out to our audience, rental income on the first floor is about $1,933 a month. For the first year of the buydown, principal and interest is only $1,931 a month, leaving the borrower to pay taxes and insurances. If you'd like more information, feel free to visit our website at buyers.donfelton.com or call or text 224-616-2732.